In today's Chinese society, how significant is the social status gap between people who have received education and those who have not? The young people working in electronic factories represent a deep resonance within many young Chinese born in the 1980s and 1990s, especially concerning those whose life paths diverge significantly due to differences in educational backgrounds. 18-year-old Yang Peng is a typical example. Due to his disinterest in studying and hearing rumors that he could earn good money working elsewhere, he dropped out of junior high school before graduating and embarked on the path of manual labor. Without educational qualifications or skills, he could only take on the lowest and most strenuous jobs in the factory. Yang Peng's initial work experience was not smooth. Lacking education, he was deceived into the most exhausting and difficult positions, enduring both physical and mental pressure. Despite this, he felt grateful to his supervisors for giving him the opportunity to work, which he cherished at the time. Over time, Yang Peng gradually became a skilled technician, but even with improved skills, his working conditions and benefits did not see much improvement. In one incident, he accidentally cut his finger, but to save money and avoid trouble, he simply rinsed it with disinfectant, sprinkled some powder on it, and continued working after applying a band-aid. Aware of the hardships and constraints of his current life, his meager wages barely allow him any respite. In addition to physical exhaustion, Yang Peng also faces pressures in his personal life. He once had a girlfriend at the factory, and their relationship progressed to the point of considering marriage. However, when the girl's parents learned of his situation, they refused the marriage proposal, citing no future prospects in manual labor. This forced Yang Peng into a reluctant breakup, deepening his sense of social pressure and inferiority. These experiences left him feeling lost and helpless about the future, yet life had to go on, and he could only continue silently on the assembly line. In the same electronic factory, 18-year-old Li Mengshi is another typical young worker. Raised without much supervision, she dropped out of junior high school and, following advice from her teacher, attended a vocational school to learn a trade. However, vocational training did not capture her interest or direction. After graduating from a technical secondary school, her lack of interest persisted, and she eventually entered the workforce. Every day, she performs repetitive tasks in the dim factory environment, feeling profoundly oppressed and resigned by the disparity between her dreams and reality. Once full of hope and aspirations for the future, reality dealt her a heavy blow. Despite her desire to leave the monotonous environment, the weight of work and the pressures of reality leave her with no choice but to continue on this seemingly endless path. In this unfamiliar environment, Yang Peng became a beacon in Li Mengshi's life. Regardless of the difficulties they faced, Yang Peng always carefully helped her overcome them, gradually warming their relationship until they finally became a couple. However, working daily on the endless assembly line weighs heavily on Li Mengshi, who yearns to escape to see a broader world. Despite this, the demands of work and the pressures of reality leave them with little time to enjoy life together. Even sharing a hot meal together is a rare happiness. Yang Peng often feels uneasy, fearing that history might repeat itself and doubting whether he can build a lasting future with Li Mengshi. They plan to date for 6 months first before considering introducing each other to their parents. In Dongguan's electronic factories, most young workers are from the post-1990s generation, who left school early for various reasons and arrived alone in this unfamiliar city. They initially hoped to achieve financial independence through their efforts, no longer relying on their parents for money. However, reality turned out to be drastically different from their expectations. They are replaced one after another, unable to find suitable positions, and earn insufficient income to change their circumstances. Yang Yujing, a girl from Zhanjiang, Guangdong, tried repeatedly to leave the electronic factory but ultimately found it to be her best job option. Coming from a poor family, she experienced the hardships of life at a young age. To help her parents build a house, she worked tirelessly and saved money, even taking on the unpopular soldering work, despite being burned without complaint. She knew her meager salary was insignificant compared to the huge amount needed to build a house, but she only wanted to relieve her parents' burden, dedicating her youth to the endless assembly line in the factory. The workers repeat the same actions every day like machines. Besides the basic 8-hour workday, overtime is common here. For senior employees, overtime means more income, while the factory focuses on squeezing their labor value to the utmost, pushing them to produce more within the allotted time. In this process, everyone becomes like machines, with no room for any respite, leaving only numb work. Compared to the older employees' view that overtime earns more money, many young people detest overtime, adhering to a principle of spending more than they earn, firmly resisting capital exploitation. Xiao Lin, from Liangshan, Sichuan, considers the electronic factory a paradise because it not only takes him away from the endless mountains of his hometown but also frees him from the endless heavy farm work at home as a temporary worker. Xiao Lin enjoys unprecedented freedom here. He can quit whenever he dislikes work. On payday, the dark factory becomes a heaven in his eyes because he has money to enjoy leisure time with his friends. Usually, they celebrate by dining together before heading to KTV to sing. Although these activities seem carefree, they also reflect their inner desire to escape and helplessness toward real life. However, not all young people are immersed in such extravagant lives. Shen Jinkai from Sichuan is an exception. He entered society early after dropping out of junior high school and gained insight into the hardships of life through several years of manual labor. Initially unsure of what to do after dropping out, he followed fellow villagers to work on construction sites, earning over 5,000 yuan a month, but the physical strain was too much for him to bear. He then chose to enter an electronic factory, where he worked 12-hour shifts on a rotating schedule. Despite the harsh conditions, he never complained. Shen Jinkai has his hobbies. During breaks, he plays billiards or reads novels, often immersing himself in the world of fiction, dreaming of one day achieving success like the protagonists in his books. However, reality is often cruel, and he can only fantasize about his dreams with cheap remote-controlled planes in his humble dormitory until he crashes into the wall, feeling his dreams shatter. As the year-end approaches, the factory begins its annual Christmas party. Knowing the nature of these young workers, the manager reminds everyone beforehand not to make loud noises and to avoid giving suppliers a negative impression of the factory at the event. All employees, bosses, and suppliers gather to celebrate the year's hard work and achievements. After the enthusiastic speeches by the hosts, female employees perform self-choreographed dances, albeit somewhat awkwardly, showcasing the romantic atmosphere unique to that era. The performance ends with thunderous applause from the audience. Seizing the moment of joy, the boss also raises a glass with each employee, appearing friendly and approachable, as if this free entertainment event could capture the hearts of the workers. The boss then takes the stage to express gratitude for everyone's hard work throughout the year, noting the factory's steadily increasing production and the influx of orders, all made possible by everyone's efforts and dedication. He promises that as long as they work hard, next year, he will buy luxury cars for them. This statement causes a stir among the employees, disrupting the previously joyful atmosphere. Some drunken employees threaten to hit the boss, but they are quickly restrained by sober colleagues, avoiding further conflict. This illustrates the most authentic conditions of Chinese workers. It shows the different lives and mindsets of young Chinese workers, some indulging in fleeting happiness while others quietly hold on to their dreams in ordinary life. It reveals the impact of educational and economic disparities on individual destinies in China. Although everyone's background and environment differ, they are all striving to find their own direction and hope. Finally, I want to say to all the young people in China that you should read more books while you are young and try your best to get into a good university. Although graduating from university may not guarantee a better job, once you get your bachelor's degree, whether you end up working in a factory, as a waiter in a restaurant, in sales, as a security guard, or driving a taxi, you will no longer think, if only I had studied more. Because you have already completed your undergraduate studies and had the experience of graduating from university. However, when you leave campus and start looking for a job, you will find that reality is completely different from what you imagined as a child. When we were young, we always believed that as long as we got into a good university, we could find a good job and achieve career success. But when we grow up, reality is not like that. Today's Chinese society is different from 20 or 30 years ago. In the past, college graduates were rare, and having a university degree was a significant advantage. Now, even with a master's degree, it might be equivalent to a bachelor's degree from the past. If you also choose a poor major, it will be even harder to find a good job. You might be overqualified for lower-level jobs and underqualified for higher-level ones. Although it is said that gold will always shine, in reality, ordinary people still face significant employment pressure. So if you haven't studied, your competitiveness compared to others will be even worse. Only by learning to find hope in adversity can we discover beauty in the ordinary. Only in this way can we truly live a brilliant life. Do you have anything you would like to say to young people in China? Feel free to leave a comment below and join the discussion. That's all for this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. We will continue to provide you with authentic reports. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.